Hey there, good morning. Welcome to Angry Bird. Today's the 25th. I just want to do a quick shout out to everybody that shared and liked and passed that video. I had a video hit over 150 views, which for me was a big deal because the highest one before that was like 36. So thank you for that. And if you like the content, please hit subscribe. If you don't know which video it was the one where I was talking about the lesson I wish everyone learned about the dog licking the balls, or why do dogs lick their balls. At any rate, today's going to be about cheaters winning, and a gentleman I know, and a lady I know. One's named Kamal, one's named Missy. Now, Kamal, I worked under Kamal, and I worked under him when I should have been promoted, basically. And I was a part of something that, when I say a part, I wasn't a part of it. I just was in the restaurant when something occurred. And because I was in that restaurant, there was a lack of trust. Because of that lack of trust, I was not promoted. Some guy stole deposits at a restaurant I used to work at, and they separated the managers all over the place. They gutted that store, and they put new managers in there. And I get it, but I didn't steal. Yeah, the guy that stole, and he never got caught. I mean, 15 years later, he never got caught. This guy worked for him, and he was a training store general manager. That meant all the new managers went through his store, learned the systems, learned how to do it, and they went to their own stores and duplicated it. Okay? This is about cheaters winning, though. So how does a training store general manager who trains the future a cheater? Well, that's the catch, right? See, in a corporate environment, cheaters get rewarded. They just do. If you find a way to cut corners and don't get caught, you get rewarded. If you find a way to manipulate situations where you don't get caught, you get rewarded. As long as you protect the brand, you get rewarded. As long as the profits keep flowing, you get rewarded. So this guy, I'm not exaggerating, man. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese for him for about 6, 7, 8 months before I got promoted out of his store. Like I said, I was ready. I just was in a situation where they said, okay, we got to wait now, I was next. and I didn't get it because of that fucking Eric asshole. But at any rate, this guy would train me. He would train me the standards, right? And we were training new managers the standards, right? In everything. But here's the thing. There were no standards with this guy. He had high expectations, but the expectations were all bullshit. So, for instance, if people showed up to work on time, he was the type of guy that says, well, if you don't need them for 15 minutes, just tell them, can you wait 15 before you want something to drink? You want to, sit down for a little bit? Most time, they all said yeah. He was the type of guy that says, if the chart says 40 pepperonis, well, you only put 24. And it's like, wait, what? Right? We're a training store. We're supposed to be training people. He's all, you can't tell the difference, just spread it out. But I could tell the difference because I can count, right? But this guy, so he did these things. He did these things, right? He picked corners on labor. He picked corners on food costs, right? Let me tell you something else he did. Like, we had a capacity at the restaurant, and he always exceeded it. Always, man. And he had a way to manipulate. I just don't know how. I don't know how, but he would tell people, come on in, order first, and then go wait over here. So everybody would order food and wait with tags, waiting for their table. And he would be out there buying up tables. Hey, I'll give you some tokens for that table. I'll give you some tokens for that table. I'll give you some tokens for that table. And so he was packing the restaurant in the game room areas, just jam packed. And he had the seating areas all full. And he had a waiting area filled with people ready to sit down and eat. And so, like, he broke all sorts of rules doing this shit. All sorts of rules. But all these things came into one category. Profit. His food cost was always one of the best, if not the best, because he cheated. He never gave the customers the food they bought. Why wouldn't he have the best food cost? Right? I mean, okay, labor. He manipulated labor so bad. So bad. I mean, you had to be there. He got caught and he got shut down eventually, but when I worked there, he was getting away with it. And it was real bad. Real fucking bad. Okay? And then, so he always had great labor. You know, always had great food costs, always had great labor. And then merchandise. Oh my God. This guy would take items in the jar, in the case, and he would move them up in categories. And then when he got caught, and he'd move them back. And so his merchandise cost was always the lowest. This guy cheated in every fucking way you could possibly cheat a customer. And he got more rewards, more monetary rewards than anybody I saw. He was so high paid. So off the charts high paid. And they wanted him to teach everyone to do it like he did it. So what do you think that created? Having them all go through that guy. What do you think that created? So cheaters win in those environments because nobody looks at the cheater. They look at the profit. And so long as the cheater don't get caught, they don't care. They don't care how you cheat. Okay, I'm going to give you one more example of this guy. And it's a personal story. One day, I almost walked out on him. All right? This guy works you to death. And no ifs, ands, or buts. He works you to death. I show up at 12 or 11 or 10. I can't remember. But when I showed up, we were on a wait. That means we were at full capacity from that moment until 7.5, 8 hours later. All right? Some ridiculous amount of time had passed. I was exhausted. So I went to him and said, man, I need to eat. I need a break. Yeah, go ahead, he said. All right. So I go and order the food. Food's ready. So I go tell him, hey, man, my food's ready. I'm going to take my break. Yeah, go ahead. All right. So I go I look around. There ain't a table in the restaurant. I look at the break table. It's full. So I just go to the manager's office, man. I'm like, well, at least it's quiet in here. So I go and sit down. I got maybe 5-6 bites in. And I'm finally like leaning back and I'm sipping soda. And he opens the door, slams the door open, like pissed off at me. What are you doing? He starts freaking out, right? So I'm so fucking confused. You said I could take a break. I ordered my food. I told you it was ready. You said, go ahead. Now I'm on my break eating my food. Now you're, what? What's going on, man? And so he told me, managers don't do that. Managers don't sit down and take breaks. We eat a little bit of bites, and then we go run around. And then we come back and we eat a little bit of bites, and we go run around. And then we come back and we sip a little soda, and then we go run around. That's what this asshole told me. Can you believe that shit? Right? Imagine that. Imagine somebody working that long for you, that hard for you, running around going crazy for fucking like 8 hours, and then finally saying, dude, I need to eat, man. And then you treat them like that. All right. So check this out. The next day I show up to work, and his boss is there, and he's there. And they're waiting for me. And they're at a table. And I show up. And they fucking pull me down. And this girl's name's Missy. And they're sitting across from me. And they're writing me up. They're writing me up for insubordination. And the reason why I was insubordinate was because I refused to go back to work until my food was finished. I told him, I said, I can't do it. Nope, I'm not doing it, man. I'm going to finish my food. And I finish food quick. I might only take 15-minute breaks, honestly. And here he is. Here he is saying, no. You got to graze and run. Graze and run. So she's sitting across from me telling me I was insubordinate. I need to listen to my GM and whatever he tells me, and he needs to write me up. I'm like, even when it's against the rules, you gotta support your GM, and I support him. And I'm like, do you even know what happened? She's like, yeah, he told me you wanted a break, and he told you no. And I'm like, whoa, like the whole story got twisted. It really did. And when I was said and done with explaining it to her and explaining it back to him, and I took that write up, and I just told them, I'm like, I don't even know what you guys expect from me, man. Like, I'm not a fucking machine. I'm a human being. And if you want me to be in here 8 hours straight and just take a little nibble and run around, it ain't me, man. I'm gonna fucking snap. I can't be happy for that long without eating. And but the story was, he wrote me up for it. His boss backed him up for it. This was the guy they rewarded. This is a guy that he got promoted to district manager. He was a legend. And he cheated so bad. He used to go into games and rig it so they would spit less tickets on purpose. He would get, he did everything he could to hose the customer. And they rewarded him nonstop. And he trained people how to do it. And so they created this just entire area of people that had shitty pizzas, shitty fucking employee morale. Everything was just expensive in the ticket categories because everyone was trying to play the game to compete, because they'd always try to hold you to some standard, and the standard was the cheat. So anyway, I hope this message reaches you all. I just don't get it. Why cheaters in society win. When you look at it now, it's full blown. The more you cheat, the more rich you are. The more you fleece, the more rich you are. The more you rig it, the more rich you are. Cheaters are who prospers today. If you're a regular guy just trying to, pedal for the boat, pedal for the society, they're taking so advantage of you now. It's the cheaters taking advantage of those people that are the only winners now. Anyway, just a thought. Love y'all. Have a great day.